It's beginning to look a lot like summer. Bitcoin is dumping to zero. No, I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding, guys. Listen, okay. This was very expected. I've got to be honest. Listen, as far as the timeline goes, summer usually sucks for crypto. Now, I've been making a couple moves recently. I want to chat about them, and I also want to chat about the crypto markets overall. So I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you enjoyed the intro. And let's get right into it. So Bitcoin right now is at $67,953, which is not too bad just yet. We haven't broken the bottom back in February. You know, in February we were lower. We were at $60,000. However, as it stands, we are at a pretty bad level. If I've got to be completely honest, like I mean, I don't need to be some kind of rocket science here, but look at my Epic Games launcher. But if I just grab this little line here and I throw it over here, it's like boop, 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 boop. That makes no sense, right? So the actual line is something like this, okay? And this line does not look the prettiest. So, you know, it looks like we were bouncing, and we broke the level. So what does this mean? It means that we probably are going back to 60K. That's what it probably means. We're going to retest the prior low. And we're going to see what happens from there. That's essentially where my head is at from a technical perspective. I'm not longing anything right now. I am buying things as the crypto market goes down. In fact, recently, I am going to be completely honest with you guys. I have never owned stocks in my entire life at all. And you know, I'm fully allocated in crypto and stables, and I've been very happy to do that, and I'm very blessed. However, I have a plan this year to get about, I think the goals are like probably like something like $20,000 to $50,000 inside of the stock market. Okay. Because I want to be diversified to some extent, but I don't want to do it in an irresponsible manner where I just throw all the $50,000 right now because of where the stock market is at the moment. You know, this thing is just going higher and higher and higher and higher, and I get it. It goes higher over time. However, you know, I would like the DCA. So my idea is like something around like $500 to $1,000 every single week. Inside of these two portfolios. This portfolio is a little bit more diversified, and then this one is my Bitcoin leverage position. In essence, this is a Bitcoin leverage position because it's just accumulating MicroStrategy. That's all it's doing. And so my idea here is, as you know, Bitcoin continues to go lower, I will continue to just DCA into it. I am not really like in a mood to start freaking out here. You know, if we go down to $60,000. It kind of is what it is. It's just kind of par for the course at this point. I know I said that, you know, we weren't going to make new bottoms, but my friends, I was wrong. I seem to be wrong to some extent. So I'm not going to trade it. I'm simply going to let the market do what the market does. Now, in good news, there is some great news. Near is pumping. You know, some of the coins we've been talking about are pumping. Near is the most recent one that we talked about. This one has a ton of momentum at the moment. I'm a momentum-based trader. My first Near video, I think it was at $1.60. I didn't buy Near at $1.60 though. I bought Near at about like $2.20, $2.30. Now it's at $2.58, so about like a 10% pump in a couple days. Not too bad, not too great, but overall, compared to where the rest of the crypto market is, I think this is going to spawn a trend. Honestly, I think this is a new trend. I do not believe in altcoin season at all. In any measurement, I do not believe in altcoin season because we are not in the same world we were in 5 years ago. Well, 5 years ago, 2021. The reason being is that there's too many of these coins. There's way too many of these coins. And check out, most of these coins are just bloody red all the way to zero. We've had some outliers. You know, we've talked about VVV at $9, and we took some profit at $20. We're still holding it. You know, we'll see where that position goes. But overall, you know, we have some big winners, and I think this is going to be a trend. We're going to have a vast majority of crypto coins essentially go to zero or be directly tied to Bitcoin because there's no reason for it to exist other than as a beta to Bitcoin. Unfortunately, that's many cryptocurrencies inside of this industry, right? Many of them don't deserve to exist, but they do because there are enough people, unfortunately, that are misled into buying them, right? And so what I think is going to happen is we're going to have clear narrative leaders, or we're going to have clear super apps. So in terms of super apps, we have places like Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid is the clearest display of a super app. They get a majority of the DEX volume inside of the crypto space. And so naturally, they're going to use a majority of those fees to go ahead and buy back their coin, creating what is now the number 9 cryptocurrency on the planet. I mean, this thing has been on an absolute tear. We've talked about this the entire way through, not because I'm some kind of genius trader, because I don't see myself as one. I see myself as more of a spot trader, which we did buy the spot. But like I'm a little bit brain dead when I invest. I just kind of buy and hold. I don't really do any of this complicated shenanigan stuff unless this crypto coin goes up like 2, 3, 5x. Then I'll start thinking about taking some profit because of prior history in crypto and knowing how these things kind of go. But I still remember on my Hyperliquid and Zcash video, there's a difference between a narrative leader and there's a difference between a super app. Super apps I treat them kind of like stocks in a way, because my upside is tied directly to how the app just continues to grow, essentially, just like the stock, right? But narratives are very different. Narratives are very fickle. Unfortunately, they're very fickle. So if I'm trading something like a super app, I am keen to hold a lot longer than I am holding a narrative leader, because narratives can change all the time. In fact, Zcash, they were the narrative leader for a long time, and then people switched over to Near Protocol. Now Near Protocol is pumping. Who knows? Next month something else might start pumping. BitTensor was pumping for the longest time. BitTensor, I think, is going to be one of those like Q4 plays. In Q4, it's going to be absolutely awesome. Once some of these apps come out. In fact, recently we had one of the subnets, MacroCosmos, announced their early pre-training run of Orion 100B, which is it would be the biggest decentralized trading LLM run in history. So, history is being made inside of the crypto industry. A lot of history is being made inside of the crypto industry. So I think there is a place for these super apps to continue to grow. Super apps are going to become a bigger and bigger portion of my portfolio, seemingly so. I also am definitely going to start allocating to stock market, just like putting more and more and more and more capital into these bases. And, if you're going ahead and facilitating these long-term positions inside of your mind, one of the places that I've also been allocating capital to is iTrust Capital. For me, at least the way that I see it, I'm a very big believer of saving for the long term, because you never know what's going to happen. For example, if I had a majority of my capital inside of the crypto industry and I decided not to take any profits, then to be honest, guys, I would be probably freaking out right now. I probably would be freaking out. But thankfully, I was able to take a healthy chunk out. I was also able to hold on to a lot of my long-term positions. And so I'm feeling pretty good about crypto overall. And so another place that I've been able to go ahead and begin allocating capital to, recently tax season came along and I was looking for a partner for an IRA platform, because I'm like, I need to start doing this myself, honestly. And so if you want to go ahead and start stacking for your retirement, you can buy and sell crypto, gold, and silver 24/7 on iTrust Capital. They are very low cost, no monthly fees, and I like them. So link in the description, you get a $100 funding bonus. And also, if you want your liquidity to start working for you, your holdings to start working for you, FortisX right now offers up to 19.93% variable APY on their liquidity pools. You can take these out anytime they're liquid staking. And so you could go ahead and take advantage of that on FortisX. Both links in the description. But let's get back into it. So where am I at? Where am I at in terms of this whole story? Do I think we're going to bounce to the moon tomorrow? No, my friends, I'm a little bit bearish right now. But does that mean that, and listen, I'm a flip-flopper. I'm also a flip-flopper. I do want to make that very clear. I'm a flip-flopper. That's why, I spend a majority of my time either doing these quick flips or I spend a majority of my time just holding things, because I don't have the attitude to be able to be like, over the next hour time frame, I'm going to long this coin. Over the next hour time frame, I'm going to short this coin. I'm not doing that. Okay, guys, I'm not doing that at all. If I did that, then I would be gambling. What I do know I have an edge on is long-term conviction, because I am a long-term thinker in a world of short-term thinkers. That's a majority of people. Listen, if you're a long-term thinker, then cheers to you. Drink some of that caffeine, get your blood flowing. Good for you. You deserve that. You deserve that, because you're going to win long-term. The fact is that the stock market is going to keep going up. The fact is that Bitcoin's going to bottom out. and Q4 is going to be wonderful. It doesn't matter what happens in between, whether or not I'm wrong 700 times or I'm right 700 times. At the end of the day, our long-term positions are the ones that are going to make us money. I mean, that's the honest truth. At least from my perspective, from my experience, these long-term conviction plays have far outpaced the latter. If you're going to get into altcoins, I don't believe in this whole spray and pray approach. I don't believe in a hyper-diversified portfolio. Unless you're diversifying into a niche. For example, like I have positions in Near Protocol, I have positions in BitTensor, and I have positions in Venice. These are my allocations inside of the top AI and big data tokens. I do not have a diversified portfolio in Zcash and their what is it, and the privacy narrative. I've already taken profit pretty much all my Zcash, all of it, because I like Hyperliquid more as a play. I just think Hyperliquid has more upside. It's a super app. It's currently dominating the crypto space, and that's currently one that's going to probably keep running. Now, in terms of diversifying into DEXs, there is one that people keep talking about recently. It's Lit. I am not allocated into Lit. I want to make it very clear that I think the upside on Hyperliquid justifies not having to diversify into any other DEXs. At least at the moment. That could change very quickly. But at the moment, that's one of the plays that people are looking at. And then other than that, the only other interesting thing I would say is probably XLM. They got a big partnership announcement with DTCC. That's the clearinghouse for the stock market. They have $114 trillion that they do every single year, which is a very big deal. And so we'll really have to see. We'll really have to see where all this evolves. But overall, that's where my head is at in the crypto markets. I hope you enjoyed this video, this quick update on Bitcoin. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Please, it's going to be all right. Till next time, stay classy, and I'll see y'all later.